Alright, so today I am here to do my 39-week update, and I'm excited to share with you guys what's been going on. Unfortunately, it hasn't been much of anything going on, but I did want to share my symptoms and the things I've been going through because maybe some of you can relate to what's been going on with me. Okay, so last week I had my 38-week appointment, and I was still just 1 centimeter. I was 1 centimeter at 36 weeks. I didn't get checked at 37 and 38. I was still just 1 centimeter. The doctor did tell me that my cervix was getting soft, so he thought that was a really good sign. Joshua was still moving a lot. That's a question that they always ask about, and he was still moving like crazy at that point. Something that I've been feeling the past week is really bad acid reflux. I think I've talked about it before, but to the point where you feel like you're probably going to throw up. It's really gross. And yeah, it's awful. I hope that you guys aren't experiencing it, but if you are, you're not alone. I've had really random days as far as hunger goes. Certain days I'm not hungry at all, and I am having to kind of like force myself to eat meals. And then other days I'm starving and I'm just trying to like eat all of the fruit and protein that I can. Literally, like, one day is I'm super hungry, the next day I'm not hungry at all. So who knows? I have been having some headaches, which is a late pregnancy thing for me. I didn't have any headaches at the beginning of my pregnancy or in the second trimester or even in the early third. But this past week I have been having some headaches. I haven't taken anything yet. I've been able to kind of just deal with them, but I know that I could take some acetaminophen if I really needed to, but I just haven't. I haven't wanted to. So I have been feeling exhausted. There have been days where I have no motivation to do anything. And some people say that when you get close to labor, you start nesting and you start making sure the house is perfect and everything. But I have been feeling exhausted and like I have no energy and no motivation to do anything. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what that means, but I have not had that same enthusiasm of making sure everything's clean, making sure all the blankets are folded perfectly on the couches, everything like that. It has not been the same level of nesting, getting ready, whatever. Okay, so on Saturday, for about 2 hours, I was having something that felt like menstrual cramps. And I would have them about every 10 minutes. I would have one, and it would last for a little while, like a minute or so. And so maybe that is contractions. I'm not really sure because everybody explains them to me differently. Some people say like, oh, you're gonna know for sure, like you're gonna know when you're having contractions. And then my other friend was like, oh yeah, I had no idea I was having contractions. And then I got to the hospital and they were like, you're having a contraction. And she was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So I don't know if you know. Maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I know. I think it's different for everyone. Everyone experiences it differently. But I have been having some cramping that has been painful off and on, but not anything like that's lasted enough to like call the doctor or anything like that. I've been doing my walking. I have been doing all of the things that people have recommended to me that are safe to do at the end because we do have an induction set for after the due date, and that's a personal choice. Some people decide not to do that, some people do, and that is a choice that Ben and I made together. We are going to wait till we get to 40 weeks before we do that. We're going to let him have that opportunity, but after that we do have an induction date set. So I'd love to go into labor naturally. So I have been walking, I've been bouncing on an exercise ball, I've been eating dates in the morning, I've been drinking some of the raspberry leaf tea, And I've been taking the Primrose Oil supplement pills, and yeah, just working as hard as I can to make things go. I was walking stairs on Sunday. I was just going up and down the stairs over and over and over again. Nothing really happening. So then I had my 39-week appointment on yesterday. And y'all, I was so excited. I felt like I've been working so hard. Like I've been doing all the things I have been told to do. I have been walking and visualizing birth and praying. And everything's the exact same. Which is fine. It's good. I'm healthy. Baby's healthy. My doctor said, it could happen any day or it could not happen. So, that's where we're at. And that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. I kind of talked about it on my Instagram story yesterday, but one of the hardest things about being pregnant and about the third trimester, so I think every trimester has its challenges. And like for me, the first trimester was like dealing with having to stop doing a lot of the workouts that I was doing as far as like CrossFit type stuff, like box jumps and full extension movements, and really slow myself down. And so that was really hard. And then the changes that happen in your body, and you're going to gain weight, and there's areas that you're going to gain fat. And so that was mentally really hard. The second trimester was pretty good. I don't know if there was anything that was like, that stands out to me right this second as being super challenging. Maybe like not buying all of the stuff. But I had more energy. We were getting prepared. And then the beginning of the third trimester is so exciting because you're like, it's going to happen soon. He's going to be here soon. And the end, I'd say maybe the last 4 weeks or so, for me have been really hard because you want your body to do what it's supposed to do. You want your body to go into labor naturally. You want the baby to come. You're so ready for it. You're excited. You've been preparing for 9 months or 10 months or whatever. You've been talking about it with your partner, and you start doing all of the things that are preparing your body, but you actually have no control over it. It's completely in God's hands. And letting that go and having peace with that is really challenging. I think especially because that's what everybody asks you about. Everyone's like, how are you feeling? Have you had any contractions? Do you think it's going to happen soon? When do you think he's going to come? And everyone means well. And it's really sweet of people to be interested and to try to engage in my pregnancy, because I know that's not what they're going through right now. But it's really hard because I feel like with most other things in life, you can be like, yes, I've taken these steps and there are results. Or if you've taken steps and there aren't results, you can change up your approach. If you're trying to learn something in school, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to deal with some emotional stuff, there are some very practical steps that you can take. And you fix it, right? You're part of the forward motion. But with giving birth, you can do all of the things, but you're completely out of control and you don't really know what's going on. You feel all of these different feelings and you feel all of these different pains, and you have cramps, and your body is releasing different fluids and things. And you're having headaches, and you're having all of these things that could be signs of labor, and also could just be like you're in your third trimester, and that's what happens. And so that's been really tough. And yesterday, after the doctor's appointment, I was kind of discouraged because, You want your, you know, in this ideal world in your head or whatever, in my head, you want to be progressing, to be on the road to delivery. And sometimes it feels like you're not. And I know that your body is, and I totally support women that want to go 42 weeks and want to deliver naturally. That's awesome. More power to you. That's not the route that, you know, we decided to go with, but it gives me peace to know that in 8 days there will be a baby here. And so no matter what, he is coming. I know that, but it is hard to kind of just be waiting on your body and not really have any control over what's happening. So that has been tough. I do have one thing this week that I wanted to show you guys, to recommend to you. It is the Baby Wise book. I was recommended this by a lot of different people, and a lot of the vloggers I watch have read it and used the philosophies that they talk about in it. I would highly recommend it to new moms, because if you're like me and you kind of like to visualize what things are going to look like and have an idea of what it's going to be like when you have a baby, even if you decide to kind of go with a different philosophy as far as like feeding and sleep schedules and everything like that, this book breaks down for you. This is kind of what like the first week is going to look like. This is kind of what the second week is going to look like, as far as like when you know, when you should be feeding them, when they should be sleeping, how much they should be, you know, eating and sleeping. And of course you talk to your pediatrician about all of this stuff. But for me, it was just super helpful and gave me some peace, because, you know, you hear all these things, like people are like, you know, talking about how much their baby ate, and you're like, should I be measuring that? Like, how do you measure that? How do you figure these things out? How do you know when they should be eating? Should I feed them every time they cry? So this kind of breaks down some of some different philosophies that you can look into. And so it was really, really helpful for me and helped me have some peace about what our life is going to look like very soon. So I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me and watching these updates. And I really hope that the next update there will be a baby. I haven't decided if I'm going to do any videoing while we're at the hospital or if I would share any of that, but I'll definitely be on my Instagram stories, and I'll post some photos on Facebook and stuff like that. So definitely keep up with that. And thank you guys so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.